Hello, today I'd like to talk about writing Neverending Nightmares. Neverending Nightmares, I have sort of a macro story idea and sort of where I wanted to end up. And that part usually comes up pretty easily just because so much of it I'm drawing on my own thoughts and feelings, which is always the easiest to create something based on that, just because it's like you don't need to think about what would the character do or what would happen in this case. You're just like, oh, what do I think? Um, but there is going to be some dialogue, some interactions between characters, and that is more interesting to write and more challenging, and so I'd like to sort of talk a bit about that. Um, well, I don't know how good of a writer I would consider myself. It's certainly something I enjoy doing, um, and I guess maybe I consider myself more of an idea man than a wordsmith. Um, but I'd like to write Neverending Nightmares, the dialogue bits, and certainly dialogue writing is a challenge in and of itself. Capture how people speak naturally is a real gift, and I'm not sure one that I necessarily have. Although certainly I find writing dialogue easier than writing like a novel or something with prose and describing things and stuff like that. I wouldn't say I have a real gift for coming up with clever ways to describe things and stuff like that. Although, well, I'm giving out my novel to certain backer tiers, and so I'm interested to hear people's reactions. In reading over it, I sort of it's kind of painful just because I'm like, oh, this section's really bad, or I could do better now, or maybe I couldn't do better now, which is always my fear, is to say like, oh, in the past 10 years I haven't improved at all as a writer, which I don't think is true. Certainly I think I'm better whether I'm a good writer or not right now remains to be seen, and certainly I'm kind of resisting the temptation to rewrite the novel, that deconstruction that I'm giving out, just because that would be a lot of time. But for Neverending Nightmares, with the dialogue, one of the things I'd like to create is the sort of feeling of being in a nightmare, and I don't know how nightmares are for you, but at least for me, like, nothing seems to quite make sense, and characters say things, and maybe they mean something else, or maybe it's the character is supposed to be one person, but they're actually someone else, like in your mind. And so I'd like to bring that sort of disjoint, awkward, uncomfortable aspect of nightmares to the writing. And so I'm trying to keep everything sort of brief and vague and just quick, and certainly I don't want to have a bunch of characters standing around or a sidekick wisecracking to you. I mean, I think being alone is the scariest thing, and so if there is another character, my goal in the dialogue is to get them off as quickly as possible, off screen, as with conveying the information that I like to. But I'm a little nervous because I think my idea of having almost disjoint and awkward dialogue to create the feeling of a nightmare, people might mistake for, oh, this writing kind of sucks. Which, I mean, again, for someone who's not good at writing, saying you're doing it on purpose is the secret to masking your shortcomings, which I hope I'm not doing. But I do worry that it may not come across, that what I have in mind may not come across as, oh, this is, supposed to be kind of weird, kind of vague, kind of uncomfortable, and people might just say, oh, this, dialogue is crap. Which, I mean, I don't know if you remember your nightmares, but at least in mine, the dialogue always seems woefully inadequate to convey the meaning, and everything else is sort of subtext, which is what I'm trying to do with the dialogue. So keeping my fingers crossed. Hopefully people will enjoy it. So thanks for watching.